Hello and welcome back to the Golden Takes channel. Now, across the NBA, there have been a discourse of talk about the MVP race, as this season has been semi the most different of seasons, as there hasn't been really a leading candidate for people. Well, in my opinion, there has been leading candidates, but in terms of sports media, there is not really a candidate they really want to push. As we all know that most of this MVP races are driven by narratives. So this season, the narrative has been changed, as it has been a discourse about Jason Tatum. Now, this video has no hate for Jason Tatum. No hate for Jason Tatum. The Sixers are playing amazing this season. They have the best record in NBA, and they're obviously playing the best basketball. But you can tell that based on what I'm about to show you, that sports media sometimes can control the narratives around the MVP. So let's see this Stephen A. Smith take about Boston Celtics.
And I got to worry about trade talk. I'm the MVP. I'm the MVP of this league. The best basketball players in the world. I was honored with the MVP. The MVP, the best basketball player in the world. And when I lose, this is what I got to go through.
You're up 2-0. What's the story? Are you not happy, or you're only half happy, or?
Still to be happy about.
You're up 2-0.
Job's not finished. Job finished? I don't think so.
Okay.
Fellas, we work all year long for it, man. Shaq the man, most dominant player in the world. Championship, it's ours. Love it, it's beautiful. Mwah, 2G, baby, you love it. We out.
It's showtime, folks.
Tell me this, where do you have Jason Tatum, SA, right now in the MVP race?
Wendy! Eminem! I got Jason Tatum as the leading candidate for league MVP.
I knew you was going to say this.
Now that Joel Embiid is out. I'm sorry. Does winning matter? Does being the best player on the best team matter? I'd say it does. I'm looking at a brother that was averaging 30 last year, 6th in the NBA. He's now averaging 27. I got some of the numbers here right now, okay? Tatum is one of 4 players averaging 27 and 8 along with Embiid, Luka, and Giannis, okay? We know Philadelphia, Milwaukee, and Dallas ain't what Boston is. They've got the best record in basketball. They've got a 6-game cushion in the Eastern Conference. Jason Tatum even has a teammate that's getting paid more than him at $300 million in Jaylen Brown.
Now, as you can see by the take Steve A. Smith said, he said that Jason Tatum deserves to be the MVP because he's the best player on the best team. Now, the reason why this take isn't valid is because it's inconsistent. Now, the reason why it's inconsistent, I'm going to get to that later, but I'm just going to say Jason Tatum is not the MVP. Now, there is a basis of reasons why, but most of the reasons why is because Jason Tatum is just not the best player. He's just not more skilled than people that have above him. But even before we get to that point, I love what Shannon Sharpe said when he addressed. I love what Shannon Sharpe said when he addressed what Stephen A. Smith said. I'm gonna put that here.
I mean, but for him to say, Stephen A., because he was in the finals and he didn't win, and voters are holding that against him, the mere fact that you have the 5th best odds, I don't believe the voters are holding that against you. I just believe that Nikola Jokic is a better player and is more deserving, and he's probably going to win the MVP unless something unforsaken happens. I have Shai Gilgeous in front of him. Shai has been unbelievable. Second in the league. What's he averaging? 31, 5.5, 6.5. Second in league in points per game. Number 1 in steals. No, he should be. And then Giannis. I'm not saying Jason Tatum is not having an outstanding. Let me finish.
Okay.
I'm not saying Jason Tatum is not having an outstanding year, but we need to stop this. Oh, because he's the best player on the best team.
Now, based on what Shannon Sharpe said, I agree. I wholeheartedly agree that Jason Tatum is just not better than the players that are above him in the MVP race. Above him in the MVP race is Nikola Jokic, who Jokic is the best player in the NBA. He has more skills than Tatum. He's a better player than just Tatum. And honestly, I think that the Nuggets are the Nuggets championship to lose. So I agree with Shannon Sharp saying that. Now, what got me was the fact that Stephen A. Smith didn't even say anything about Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. But when Giannis got brought up, he wanted to say something about that, which I don't understand, because Giannis has consistently been the best player or number 2 in the league. He plays amazing defense, is an amazing scorer, and also is a good playmaker. So you have all these things for Giannis, the hate on Giannis, but it's because of the media. The reason why is because these players have already won MVPs. These players are already proven and showcase their ability, proven season on season. So based on sports media and based on the narrative, they don't want them to win. And I'm not even trying to make a claim that's not true. I'm gonna play a clip of Stephen A. Smith after he said what he said 2 weeks before. He comes back on First Take and says this.
Very, very much when I say this. Y'all know Joe Fortenbaugh, right? Y'all know Joe Fortenbaugh.
Yeah.
Joe Fortenbaugh is an elite, I mean, he's here working at ESPN. We're happy to have him, our resident expert with gambling and all that other stuff, the sports gaming industry and everything. He sent me a text this morning, and Joe, forgive me for calling it out, but I got to pat myself on the back for this. According to Joe Fortenbaugh. Last week, I brought up how Jason Tatum should be a leading candidate for league MVP. At that time, Shannon, Jason Tatum had 50-1 odds to win MVP. Stephen A. opened his mouth, and today it's reduced to 25-1. 25-1, just like that, Shannon. You understand? Say the man Stephen A. Smith has spoken. You understand? And that's what has happened. And you had some folks that had him as much as 100-1 odds, and now it has been reduced to 40-1. This is according to the great Joe Football. This is not me.
Now, Stephen A. Smith clearly said that he has some say. Him talking brung the say of Jason Tatum up in the MVP voting. Now, 2 things about this. One, that is insane. For one person to change the narrative around the MVP voting, not even about scoring, not even about things that happen, because what Stephen A. Smith is saying is inconsistent. Stephen A. Smith has not consistently voted for the best player on the best team. I'm pretty sure he has done that. He has voted for Joel Embiid last season, and he wasn't the best player on the best team. He has voted for Jokic, and he was the best player on the best team. He has voted for countless of players, and they haven't been the best player on the best team. So even if Stephen A. Smith had that argument, if it was consistent, I wouldn't be mad at the argument, even though the argument is dumb, but at least he's consistent with it. He's not consistent. So him saying this doesn't even make sense. That it's just sports media pushing a narrative around someone that they want to win the MVP. Now, is it gonna work? Honestly, I don't know, because as you can tell by Stephen A. Smith, him pushing this hard for Tatum, it honestly made his odds go up. So based on him and Kendrick Perkins, I guess, pushing this narrative and allowing Tatum to get more odds in the MVP voting, it might not allow players who are actually playing better and players who are actually doing things they need to do to not even win the MVP. Like Jokic. Jokic is a better player than just Tatum. Jokic is doing more than Tatum. Tatum team has the best record in the NBA because the Celtics have the best supporting cast in the NBA. They have obviously the best supporting cast, and they have obviously the best players that are allowed to play. So they're gonna have the best record in the NBA. But Jokic is a better player on a worse team compared to the Boston Celtics, but his team is still good, and his team is playing better than the Celtics playing wise. Now, record wise, I'm saying playing wise, because Celtics have issues that will be addressed in the playoffs. That Jokic, when the Nuggets have issues, Jokic allows Nuggets to play and not allow issues to show. So that's why Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, the Thunders are having an excellent season. No one thought OKC Thunder would be at the level they're at now, and Shai is at the forefront of that. And he's not even getting getting love. We have Giannis Antetokounmpo, who is actually playing good in this season, as Damian Lillard had a clear fall off, and Giannis has to control most of the offensive tempo, and he's playing good defense as well. And we're not even showing him love. We're getting mad when somebody say Giannis in the conversation. So I don't think that Tatum deserves the MVP, not because he's a bad player, not because there's anything wrong about him. There are things wrong about him, but it's just because there's just better players than him. Honestly, Luka deserves more love than him as well. There is better players than Jason Tatum. The argument that we're using is just because he's the best player on the best team, and sports media is trying to push somebody as a narrative instead of just pushing Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Because if you want to push somebody that has won an MVP, that is a new face to the forefront, push Shai. I don't understand why we're not pushing Shai, but we're pushing Jason Tatum. Now, it could be because them people are not from this country. I'm not going to make that argument, but that could be a reason why. Because we're literally pushing a player at the bottom of the MVP voting for a reason, and we're using an argument that we haven't used none ever in our MVP career.